Welcome to this episode of the Growth Cast. It is me, Jackson Campbell, here again with Dallas Pruitt for another extended cut. We're doing this episode a little bit earlier than we would usually record our extended cuts because Dallas has a family vacation coming up, so we're kind of loading up on an
Jackson's old stomping grounds.
Yes, he's going back to where I grew up for sure. I'm
Get a little sunshine. Yep,
I'm excited to hear about the trip for sure. But instead of doing a weekly review today, we picked a topic. And it's a topic that Dallas picked, and it's something that he's been noticing, working with our students within the Multifamily Mindset, our new investors, and then just working with people throughout Dallas's lifetime. He's been a coach for multiple people. He's worked as a teacher. He's worked with multiple individuals and companies, very big companies, and he's noticed a trend about why people do the hard work that they do. And we kind of wanted to dive into today. So this is a topic that Dallas wanted to talk about. And I'm actually really excited to talk about it because it's something that's been on my mind. I just didn't know how to articulate it. So that's what Dallas is good at, though, is articulating these things and these thoughts. So Dal, let's dive in, man. What is it exactly that you want to talk about today?
Yeah, I think we're throwing the title out for today's extended cut is just hard work.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Hard work. And that's really what we should be striving for. I think a lot of people come into our network with this idea in their head of, I want to get to this point. I want to get to this spot. And it's a result that they've crafted up. It's this vision of what their life looks like after being successful in an investing career, right?
Right.
Growing wealth. And I think for a lot of people, I don't think it's bad. Like, I think it's important that I point this out, that I don't think it's bad either. I'm not saying that this is a sin. I think it's something that we've all fell victim to at some point in our life. And some of us are still stuck in that mentality of, oh, I want to do all this because I want to have this end result. I want to have this good life, right? Like the good life of a very result oriented. Like, I'm doing this because I want to have time to do what I want. And I want to have this truck, and I want to have this home, and I want to have, I
want to sit on the beach and drink Mai Tais. I want to,
yeah. Like, I don't want to have to, report to anybody on their time frame, right? Like, that's kind of the idea of entrepreneurship. Like, I want to be an entrepreneur because it's super sexy to think that, like, I get to control my day and do what I want to do and feed my passion.
Right.
And I think that's again, I'm not downplaying anything here. I've myself fell victim to certain mentalities as I started my journey in business and in entrepreneurship, and this idea that, like, man, I could control my day. That'd be sweet. But really what ends up happening is, if you stay stuck in that mentality of very results-based thinking and creating this wrong picture, what I know now to be a wrong picture of what the good life is, right? It creates some problems, and it also gets you further and further away from falling in love with hard work, which is really like what we should all be striving to do, is learn more and work hard so that we can learn more and sweat and bleed and really get dirty in the learning process. You talked about teaching, my career in teaching, and there was this checklist mentality that would go on with students where it was like, I just needed to do what I needed to do to get the A.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was the result they wanted, was the A.
Right.
And the question I would pose is like, well, what good is that A if you didn't get anything out of that other than the result? Like, what did you learn from earning that A? How did that work help you and make you better? Are you really reflecting about that hard work that you put in to earn that A?
Yeah.
And if so, like, it will be helping you. It will be making you better. And you'll realize that, like, all of the result came, or the majority of that came from hard work. So hard work's awesome. Hard work's the thing we should be falling in love with, because that's what produces. And so anyways, I've got this little quote here that I pulled from it, and I wanted to share it.
Before you share that, though, I just want to make sure, I just kind of want to make sure that I'm understanding what you're saying here is, people do the hard work to eventually exit it, right? You're saying that's the mentality that you're saying is people do the hard work
perfectly right there.
People do the hard work up front so that they can exit the hard work, when really in reality, the joys, the victories come within that hard work.
That's where growth comes from.
And the fulfillment should come from that hard work.
So why
not
would
necessarily
you,
the exiting that hard work and doing whatever it is that you want to do.
So why would you create an exit strategy that would excuse you from more growth? Like, why would you, right? Like, that's essentially what you're saying. And like, you put it beautifully. Say it one more time. Let's more time.
Let's see if I remember how I said it. So what you're saying is that people want to do the hard work and work really, really hard so that eventually they can exit it and not have to work hard anymore.
Yes.
And that's what you're saying is wrong, because all of the joys and fulfillment and victories and things that we're looking for,
betterment,
growth, the things that we learn and experience and become a better individual come within that hard work. So the minute you stop that hard work, it's almost like growth is being impeded and stopping as well.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Period. Mic drop.
Okay.
And that is the most important thing to come to a firm understanding as an individual as you go in to tackle something like entrepreneurship and business and investing, that I think is like one of the most important lessons that you yourself can learn and commit to mentally, is a love for that. That should be like the overarching goal. That should be the biggest part of your goal and vision, is through all of this, I want to become a better worker. I want to fall in love with working hard. I want to fall in love with doing, and becoming better. And not because I want to exit that one day, but because I want to just continually build on that. And a great example of that, to kind of like paint a clearer picture of what we're talking about, is Tyler. And Tyler's just a good example because Tyler spends a lot of time on the Growth Cast with us, and we get to work with Tyler. We're on the same team. We're all working together. You know, you could probably insert somebody else's name within our team, right? That's on the same boat. But like, just because Tyler's pretty commonly known amongst our audience, you know, Tyler, a lot of people know that Tyler lives in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Well, I think that some people have this irrational or unreal perception of Tyler, which is, well, like, he's out there, and well, yeah, he's out there because, like, dude, the life in Hawaii, like, man, slow paced, kick your feet up. You know, he's on the beach, he's doing these things. And dude, what does a day look like for Tyler Jackson? Like, what is it?
In the office by 8 o'clock every day. He usually is here until after 5 p.m. every day when he's in town. Right. And I think, just to kind of follow up on what you're saying, Dallas, I think there is a perception that people work really, really hard to get what they want. Right. Tyler acquired all this property and now he lives in Maui. The perception may be that he kicks it on the beach every day with his family, that he does, you know what I mean? That he's not working a ton, but that's not the reality. Does Tyler spend time on the beach with his family? For sure. Has he worked really hard to gain the things that he has? 100%, to be able to benefit from those things is why you work so hard. Does he do those things? For sure. But for people to think that that's all he does, and that there's no hard work that's coming. And I don't know if that's what people think. I don't think that's necessarily what a lot of people think, but I can see a perception being made where, and Tyler is just an example, right? We can use other ultra wealthy people, right? We talk about, before we even jumped on this podcast, Dallas and I were talking about Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg. These people are ultra wealthy. Ultra wealthy. But what also do you also see them doing all the time? Working, trying to build their businesses, trying to do more, trying to create more, and
providing value,
provide value for the people around them. Right. So it's this false narrative where, yeah, Elon Musk, he created Tesla. He's a billionaire, but you think he's done working? You think he's just kicking it and not doing anything? No, he's continuing to work, continuing to build, and continuing to grow his wealth. So I think
having that conversation with yourself, dude. It's having that conversation with yourself of like, why am I truly doing this? Keep asking, why am I truly doing this? Why do I want to do this? And if the why is attached to a very results-based idea or you know, whatever, like of the house on the hill with the property and that's really the only part of the why, then it's time to just do a little more work. Yeah. Because it won't suffice. It won't suffice because you're not falling in love with the work. And it also isn't bigger than just you.
Right.
Right. Like the why has to be bigger than you, and it has to be tied into value. It has to be tied into helping. It has to be tied into service. It has to be tied into creating value for others. It has to be bigger than you, and that's you fall in love with work, with working hard and sweating blood, tears. You fall in love with that stuff when your why is properly defined and it's bigger than you and it involves other people. And that could be your family. And I'd argue it's even bigger than that once you start properly defining it. It's everybody around you. It's everyone around you, right? You're living outwardly, like you're looking inwardly, and then you're living outwardly for others. And that's what Elon Musk's of the world are doing. That's what the Tyler Devereaux are doing. That's what I'm trying to do is live outwardly. That's what you're trying to do is live outwardly and help other people. I've got this, I wrote down a few things today that I wanted to share. And I think that this ties perfectly in, dude, which is don't become passionate about your dream life, become passionate about working hard to create positive change. There's that statement of like, do what you're passionate about and you'll never work another day in your life.
Yeah.
And again, false narratives. It's like, dude, do it. How about just become passionate about working hard? How about become passionate about hard work and effort and just take that passion with you every single place you go, and you'll be successful. You'll be successful. You'll figure it out if you're passionate about hard work, and you'll grow some passions along that path, and it'll be awesome. But you don't need to follow that narrative of like, well, I've got to go create this, my dream life. And it's like, dude, your dream life will come to fruition, and it will look a little bit different probably than what you even imagined it prior before you fell in love with work. But once you fall in love with work, your dream life comes to fruition. That's like, you have to reverse engineer that thing. That's how it figures itself out. And you're an integral part in figuring that out, but it doesn't happen in that order. It doesn't happen in the order that's told us, oh, dream up your life. And then we got to go through that reflective process. We have to have an idea. We have to set an aim, but like, then you have to get to work, and then it starts to really take shape and form. And the more you fall in love with work and working hard and becoming better and the victories and all the things that come from it, right? That's how you surpass the dream. That's how you get even bigger and better and beyond what you could have dreamt up by yourself without that love of hard work. I think that's, and obviously I'm passionate about that. I'm like speaking with emotion right now, but it's just super, it's a lesson that and I'm passionate about it because, to be perfectly honest with you, that was me.
Yeah.
I was stuck in that trap.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about it because I know the negative that comes from results-based or results-oriented only type of thinking, right? Drafting that up and then just striving for it and being focused on that result and everything that lacks until you get there. A lot of unhappiness, a lot of ungratefulness, a lot of bitterness, a lot of irritation, a lot of frustration comes from results-based thinking only. And I have gotten so much better at results-based thinking or outcome-oriented thinking because I now am a process-oriented thinker and builder, and it's just strengthened my relationship with the results or the lack thereof, depending on what's going on in my life. And I don't let those results define me. They're just part of the process, right? And they help me gauge progress. They help me set standards. They help me, grow. Like those things help me, and I love them. But I now have a good relationship with those things, and it's because I shifted my mentality years ago to being very process oriented in my thinking, very systems based. Right. How can I create a daily system that's going to produce growth? How can I create a daily system of work? What can my workload look like? What should my workload look like so that I can produce growth and produce results? And then once I fell, further and further in love with that, it was so much easier to start gauging what those results should be in a certain time frame.
Oh, that's so powerful. Dal, I feel like a better question is needed.
Let's do it. We like better questions, right?
We do. We like better questions. So Dal, what is a better question we could ask ourselves regarding this topic?
Yeah. I think a kind of a broad one would be, what's your definition of success? What is my definition of success?
Yeah.
right? And I also think that another one is, literally ask yourself, how is my relationship with results in my life
and hard work? Because it's, a lot of times that's what people don't want to be doing, even though that's where the most benefit comes from. So I think the better question is, what is your relationship with hard work? What is your relationship there? And
I also think you could reflect on your daily conversations with yourself and with other people around you. I'll tell you a telltale sign where somebody has an issue. Again, I've caught myself in this trap numerous times, even in the last year. But again, error-ridden thing, I catch myself and then I fix it, right? And so, but a telltale sign that somebody's very results-oriented only, and they're really hyper-focused on that, and it's creating a problem, is complaining.
Okay.
When you're complaining, right? And what I mean by that is, at the sign of an obstacle, when something starts, a hard situation starts to present itself, results-oriented thinkers will start to complain because they're missing the boat. They're not realizing that that's a blessing. They're not realizing that this is part of the process. Obstacles are part of the process. This is just part of the journey. This is making me better. This is helping me, right? And so one surefire way to fix that and get yourself out of that trap is actually something that we're going to talk about soon on the Growth Cast, on one of the daily drips, which is inserting a but. This is hard, but it's necessary. This is hard, but it's helping me. Right. And inserting that but, the power of but in right. Like, and also like there's another magic word in Timic there. And again, I'll allude to this later, but it's yet. I can't do this yet. Again, this opens up the door to want to do more. This opens up the door to realize that there's so much more to be done. There's more possibilities. There's more options. There's more work. And again, you come back to the work. You're not focused on the result. You come back to the work and you get lost in doing something different, something better, giving more effort, more focus. And now your attention's there, and it's not like, oh, I'm so much further away from what it is I want to do,
right?
Where I want to be. Because that's what you're really saying when you're complaining, is like, oh, I have this expectation that it was going to be super easy and that like there wasn't going to be things that popped up all the time. And it's just like, embrace those damn things. Like, get excited about them, because they are what is going to produce a better you. They are what's going to produce all the victories and all the magic and all the awesomeness. And so literally just shift your mentality to go, man, I freaking am so grateful for these things. I can't do this yet, but I'm grateful for that because this problem's helping me figure it out. So yet and but, they're magic words that help you get out of those traps and get back to process-oriented thinking and further away from results-oriented thinking. And again, you can come back to results-oriented thinking when your relationship's in a really good spot with the process.
Right.
But if your relationship's not really good with the process, my invitation would be, do whatever you need to, ask these questions, reflect, and figure out your relationship with these things, and then come back to results-oriented thinking once you have a better relationship with those things. And you'll really start to figure some things out.
I love it. That's super powerful. Dallas, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for this drip, for this extended cut, rather. Very, very good things, and a great reminder to continue on working hard, because that's where the most benefits come from. Yeah, your result, what it is that you're working for, is the reason, is your why. But the biggest result and the biggest growing things that happen in your life come throughout that period of hard work. So I think that's a good reminder, and another just great reminder to fall in love with the work, fall in love with the strategies, fall in love with the systems that you put in, fall in love with that process and the growth there. Is there anything you want to add as we wrap up here?
Yes. Be careful about who you listen to. Now what I mean here is there's a lot of voices out there. I'm just one, and I'm speaking to my own experience. Right. I think the best way that we can help is to speak to our own experiences, right? Like, I can't tell somebody else how they feel or think, but I can tell you what I've been through. And there's a lot of stories being told out there. There's a lot of narratives about the good life, about, results.
Right.
Be careful about who you listen to. Right. And what I mean by that is there are some false narratives out there. There are some approaches that you should have no business buying into. And I don't know who those are. I'm saying that there's lots of voices. I'm not pinpointing any one specific thing. But gosh, like even the Kobe piece about waking up early and showing up to the gym, and like, that is the dream. It is the dream, my friends. It is the dream. Hard work is the dream. And for whatever reason, in the world we live in right now, it's almost become not very sexy. Hard work. It's like, we all want the results. We glamorize those things, but we don't glamorize like being dirty and sweating and crying and figuring it out. Like, that is what we need to glamorize more. That is what we need more of. We need more attention on those things, because those are the things that are powerful. Those are the things that produce. And so that's what I mean by be careful about who you listen to or what you're paying attention to. Don't get caught in that trap. That's not where the magic is. Those are byproducts of hard work. And if you are motivated by some of those things, that's awesome. And that will help. But that is not where your focus should be. Your focus should be on the work. And you'll be able to drive that Lambo if that's something that you want to do. That's awesome. When you get it, come pick me up, and I would love to go for a ride. And I'm not downplaying it. I think it's freaking awesome. I'm motivated by other things, in terms of results. We all have those MOs. That's great. But don't get it twisted. Those things are only byproducts of people who have fell in love with the work, and we shouldn't fall in love with the work so that we can exit it one day. We should fall in love with the work so we can get better and better and better and better at it, and load that garage up with some Lambos if that's something that drives you. And
produce
or
more.
Donate millions of dollars to freaking charities across the world. Whatever pushes you, that's great. Just work hard, man. You'll figure it out.
I agree. Dallas, thank you so much, man. This has been another extended cut episode here with Jackson and Dallas. If you haven't rated or reviewed the podcast, we definitely encourage you to do that. For those of you that have given us a rating and left us a review, we super appreciate it. For those of you that continue to share the episodes, we also appreciate that as well. That's the only price we ask, is to share the episodes so we can reach a larger audience. Dallas, thank you again so much for your time this morning. Super appreciate you, man. Hope you enjoy your trip. If you guys need anything or have any suggestions for us, please reach out to us at thegrowthcast@multifamilymindset.com, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Have a great rest of your day, y'all. We super appreciate you. Take care.